some of my relatives and my family say, oh, soon you will have a job. So why are you going to Scotland? That is very far place. Why are you going there? But I think this is very important for me to go out. I have to do something that I can able to help other people, you know. We all came to the Ropa school in 1993 when we were about 10 years old, and all of our parents died, so we are all orphans from nomadic families. And we have studied and lived together almost 15 years, so we are just really close to each other like our brothers and sisters.
When I was 3 months old, my mother passed away. Then my aunt brought me up in this house. This family is very kind. When I was small, they have 11 children, and I play with their children. And sometimes going with their children to herd the sheep, yaks. Every year when I have holiday, I come. Almost 22 years they are living in this house. It's quite difficult life and difficult health because it's difficult to get a doctor. If they are sick, also they need money, so they don't have income.
My father is passed away when I am 9 years old, and after he left the world, and we had a very difficult living condition, and even in the winter time, I always need to go to up the mountain to look after livestock. And my mother, she doesn't have enough money to buy clothes for all the children.
When I was 13, then I went in school. I don't know read and write, and I never heard if I live like this kind of area, then I don't know what is school, what is study. And then at that time I was first been to our school. They are learning English alphabets. The sound is a little bit funny, you know.
The main person who founded our school is Dr. Agurumchin. He comes to our school every year. He always tells us how special and important to speak our own language and how to be kind to other people. Agurumchin was a very important Lama and also was a master of Tibetan medicine before he left our country as a refugee. And he went to Scotland a long time ago, where he set up a big Tibetan center.
When I went back to Tibetan area in 1983, which is the first time refugees allowed to go back to homeland to see their relatives, around about that time, Yushu has a large number of orphanage children because there's so many people dying. So therefore, we thought it would be wise to educate barefoot doctors, so when they grow up, they can go back to their own village.
This is the Yushu Tibetan Prefectural Tibetan Hospital, which I did 1 year practice training here. I really think Tibetan medicine is quite cheap most of the time. It works well and people trust it. Also, it's made locally, so people can get it quite easily. I think that's really big benefit for them. Our traditional medicine is made from many different herbs. Each medicine is made from a mixture with roots and leaves and flowers and seeds. When we studied Tibetan medicine, we needed to learn about the history, which goes back more than 2,000 years. We also learn about plants, how to recognize them and how to use them as ingredients. There's also a big connection between Tibetan medicine and our religion, so really important that we pray when we collect them or make into medicine.
Yeah, in summertime, sometimes we are coming with doctors on the mountain and to pick up the herbs. If we don't know the herbs names, then we ask all the doctors what is name, then we pick up and then we clean, wash it and then dry it. He said today the hospital they're going to pick up 2 different herbs.
Come on.
So
Come on.
that is this yellow medicine which is called kumo, and you only can put a flower into the medicine, not the root or leaves.
Doctors are going to mountains and digging herbs. He may pray and he may himself visualize a particular deity and say the mantra, and at the end the energy of deity dissolved into that particular plants.
This medicine, which is called Driyonka, they used a lot. So in Tibetan medicine they said you have to pick up this before cuckoo sounds. You know, you have to dig this before the cuckoo comes. We have been taught how to collect herbs in our traditional way, but now some of the plants are very difficult to find. So Agurumchi invited doctors from all over the Tibet to find out how to save our plants from dying out.
I think there's a few problems. In early time, the Tibetan doctors only use Tibetan herbs, but not to export. Like now, they export in China, like many Chinese buy Tibetan herbs to make the Chinese medicine. So therefore, the tradition is almost dying out because the herb is become making money. Herb is not respected. It's quite a big problem in the moment.
The people who are collecting herbs, most of them very poor, so they just pick up as much as they want and sell to the factory, because the factory only pay by weight. So they pick more than they need because they really need that money to help them living conditions. Or if they pick a lot of plants, they never know it's going to be extinction of Tibetan herbs.
I think there's about 7 herbs which almost are dying out. So something like out of 600 herbs, more than 100 herbs is almost going to die. So I think it's quite dangerous if you don't do anything.
Agurumbuchi is planning a new project to build small nurseries with a medical center where people will learn how to grow plants and make very pure medicines.
You have to train the people, train the doctor. These plants, we only need flowers. So you don't destroy anything. These plants, we only need the leaves. These plants, we need a seed, or these plants, we need a root. So each time that when you pick up Tibetan medicine, you increase. So you're helping to increase. You're not going to destroy. That's the education you need.
Until now, we never had to learn about how to grow plants because there were enough in the wild. But now we need to because many of them disappearing. So Rokpa is sending us to Scotland to learn how to grow plants for medicine. I'm very excited to go and to Scotland and then begin to study horticulture and to learn new things.
Right now I'm 24 years old. Even though I'm not very beautiful or I'm not very rich girl, but I still think I am the lucky girl because soon I'm going to Scotland, for studying.
As soon as it gets warm and begins to dry, it's good. The black seeds are the good seeds, and the red seeds are no use at all. They haven't been fertilised.
I see.
The black have been fertilised, the red have not been fertilised.
I see.
The idea is the students come to Scotland for a year's horticultural training where they learn propagation techniques, they learn how to cultivate the plants. We want them to get used to collecting, to get used to cleaning the seed and seed storage, seed sowing. It's really absolutely fundamental to the whole programme.
Let's just say that each one of those cells is a pot on its own right, okay? And what we're thinking about what's best for that plant to grow in. There are plants that are becoming extinct. And what are the reasons for that? Deforestation, desertification, climate change, over-harvesting. There's a huge list of reasons why plants are disappearing. That one of the key things that we should be doing is helping to sustain these plants. We don't want to lose plants. And the Royal Botanic Garden, Edinburgh, has always had. I mean, it was set up in, the late 1600s as a medicinal garden. That's why it was there. It was a physic garden. That's going really back to our roots, if you like. So for us to get the opportunity to work in this project with Rokpa, it's fantastic for us.
Blue poppy, Mechanopsis, just grows in Tibet, but our Mechanopsis grows a little bit shorter than this and more spiky.
What we're hoping to do is set up a teaching nursery in Tibet. So in addition to actually growing the herbs, other Tibetan doctors or other Tibetans will be able to come and see what's being produced because working with the plants is the best way to learn.
This we can sow now. So this we can sow now. Berberis, you've done from cuttings, but we can sow the seed. There's no harm in sowing the seed. That we've got some Mechanopsis seeds in variety. Mechanopsis are perhaps one of the best known of the Himalayan herbaceous plants, so but they're better known as the Himalayan blue poppy. I think it's now Edinburgh City Council's logo as well as popping up on our webpage on regular intervals. I think it's certainly one of the plants that people identify with. It's just such an archetypal Himalayan flower. And I think, for me, as somebody who collects plants, I can imagine what early explorers must have thought coming over a mountain ridge, looking down and seeing this sort of haze of blue.
So about the Meconopsis, do we have to soak it or not?
Well, no, we don't need to soak the Meconopsis, but you must think about where you see these plants grow in the wild. You must think what kind of compost you need to make that these will be happy. Potentially we have one of the biggest et situ collections of Himalayan plants that there is. So we've got a number of hundreds of years of experience of growing this type of material, which of course has stood us in good stead because as climate has changed, agriculture has advanced, it means that we have genetic resources within the UK that perhaps don't exist in the wild.
So first it's better to give water from bottom, and then after that the seeds will stuck into the soil. So then it's okay, you can put the water from top. But the first time, if the seeds are very tiny, it's always better to give water from bottom.
It's 60 pots joined together. That's what you should view this as, okay? Because the plant growing in this cell has got no idea what's going on over there. That's its environment. Giving them key fundamental horticultural skills from how to propagate a plant from seed, how to take a cutting, how to pot a plant up, how to actually manage a small growing area. How's that then going to go back to Tibet? Well, one of the other things that they're doing while they're here is that they're working on a protocol for plant production in Tibet. So by the end of the project, we'll have Tibetan doctors with a really good range of horticultural skills, plus a handbook that they can then follow for how to grow Tibetan plants.
This is quite big. Look. Nice. One of the main things that is going to be different growing plants for medicinal use from the way we grow them here is that we use chemicals when we're growing them. We use chemical fertilisers, we occasionally use insecticides. But for medicinal use, it's really important that the plants are pure and that they're free from chemicals. So the nurseries in Tibet will be using biodynamic principles which are free from chemical use.
Before we did some seed collection, now we are taking cuttings and divisions. So it's a good experience. So practical is, I think, most important.
It's quite good to actually come and work with the plants, isn't it? Because you can read about it, but when you actually do it, it makes a big difference. And I think that it increases your understanding of what's actually important. Have you found a worm as well?
Not.
Oh, a lot of worms! Oh, look at these, look at these. You can still take them out gently though, you don't have to hurt them. Look, see, I didn't hurt that at all.
Oh no.
Division.
Because I'm Buddhist, so we say Buddhist that the insects also have life. So we would like be life, so they also would like be life. So I don't want to hurt them. It's really difficult to work with compost.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, when I first came to here, I am very glad I can see and Tibetan Buddhism here. And also, I've been in some countries in like Europe, but I never saw like a Buddhist center like this.
For me, I didn't imagine there's a real like Tibetan monastery that we can see in Tibet, same as in Tibet. I was absolutely surprised when I saw all the stupas and everything in here. So this is really quite amazing.
So these people will have the influence to go back to train other doctors, because doctor is the only person who can teach local people. Each village where it's going to happening must have a doctor in the clinic, and doctor's job is to teach for the village people how to pick up herbs. And this is clinic and teaching room, classroom. It's also not only to teach herbs, but to teach some reading and writing for literacy, to improve the knowledge. You may teach the herbal side, you may teach the factory side, but you can also teach other things for the future.
routine homo that the day they and a composite and a salt how the hearty. This has hard me composite.
My deep hope is that when they go back to the homeland, they can get in touch with the nature, to get the feeling of what is happening to people, what is happening in the environment, because once we are happy and healthy, our body, then we have to protect, preserve the environment.
Yellow spider flower tree.
So what's your view now then of the bigger project? You know, you came here to learn these horticultural skills. The whole project now about going back to Tibet, conserving medicinal plants. Do you feel, yes, this is going to work?
Yeah, it's still difficult to say, because here there is climate is different, and also here's much whatever you need. Then here have you can buy, and living conditions much better than there, and so. Also, we have in Tibet we don't have a nursery like this, so a little bit difficult, but we will try.
Many things that we just think we can do in Tibet, but when we go back to Tibet, it's not easy to do something, because your mind and other people's mind is quite totally different. Because they never imagine how it works in the West and how things happen in West. I think it's quite a difficult job, because this project will be very big in the whole world. It's not just for me. I think this is for many people for future.
If we work all together now, it will not be too late.
I really wish the things that I learned here, and when I go back to Tibet, I really wish that I could able to teach people what I learned. That is my biggest wish.